Let's bring them on, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, my people, and welcome to the SN95 Power Channel. So I've been sitting here and I've just been thinking, like, what cheap performance parts can I get? Now, there's a fine line between cheap, fast, and quality, but is there something that I can find that's a good blend of both? And so I was thinking about some headers. So let's see what we have on eBay. You know, I have an on3 turbo kit, and it's not a Helion kit, but you know, for the first 3-4 years that I've had it, it kind of been pretty good. You know, just recently, I would say the last year, I've had to do some maintenance on it where I had some cracks in the headers, and I always had a problem with, I think, the flange being warped on those things. I never got it taken care of. And so the on3 kit has been out for a while. It's been proven. I think, yes, there have been horror stories when it came to the on3 turbo kit. I mean, when I say horror stories, I mean as far as people having fitment issues. Never a total, I haven't read of a total failure of an on3 turbo kit. But I think there's been more people having success with those kits than failures. So I'm going to keep scrolling and see what I can find. And when I find it, we'll come back. All right, this is what I have. It's a hot side kit. Says it fits a 302. You got passenger side, driver side header. Look like you got the crossover connections. Not bad. All right, we'll add this to the cart. 150 bucks. What could possibly go wrong? All right, so with this kit, what exactly do you get? It's a hot side kit. You get a driver side and a passenger side header. Driver side, passenger side. You get a box that's poorly packed. You know, this is what they use to protect your headers. You have a crossover. And they give you some gaskets. So this is the packing. I didn't leave anything out. This is it. Like, for these headers, that's all you got. You get a gasket that's crushed. So if you're going to try to use this, it would leak. And they give you header gasket, which seems to be in okay shape. It's a little bend to it. Poorly packed. Box has damage from the parts kind of just swirling around and knocking on stuff. Actually even had something break through here. You know. So packing is horrible, but honestly, for $100 something, you can live with that, right? So I know what you want to know, quality of the actual components. Now, I am no expert when it comes to welds, so I cannot tell you how good these welds are or not. But I can say it's comparable to some of the on3 turbo welds that I've seen. The problem lies in the inside. You have a lot of sharp edges. This thing really needs to be deburred. You have a lot of slag, or I don't know the proper terminology of what you call this, but we'll get some better lighting in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So the one good thing that I can say about these headers that are better than the on3 headers is all of the header flange bolts line up with the heads. Now with the on3 kit, like I've had to almost sometimes round out the header bolts on the flange just to match up with the holes inside the head. But with these, everything is lined up perfectly. You know, I can get another bolt real quick and show you what I mean. All right, let's just throw one on here real quick. So the good thing I can say about this eBay header is the header flange is true. It's a lot straighter than the on3 header. And all the header bolts line up with the holes on the cylinder head. Common problem with the on3 header is sometimes you have to open up the bolt holes on the flange just to kind of get things lined up. Not with this eBay header. Everything looks pretty straight as far as the flange, and all the holes line up to the head. All right, so here's my cheap eBay header, and just some things that I noticed. You know, the inside, see if I get a good angle on here for you guys. Yeah, so this isn't, the transition on here is smooth up into the weld. Now, there's no jagged edges in here or going down in the tube. Problem is, inside this collector. Now, this collector doesn't look horrible, but you can tell, like I said, I don't have an eye for welds, but this looks sloppy. So it doesn't look horrible. This is the driver's side. And, you know, like I say, this transition isn't the best. You know, you compare it to the on3, this isn't the collector side of the on3 kit. So if you compare it to the on3 kit, I don't know if I get a good angle to go down in here. So if you look down in the on3 kit, I think it looks a little bit better as far as the welds, as opposed to the cheap eBay kit. But here's the scary one right here. Is look at all this. Like, they didn't take their time to try to even like get rid of some of this. I don't know if I'm getting that on film, but you know, look at all this garbage. I mean, look at all this garbage right here. You know, there's no smooth transition. You know, you have these sharp pieces right here. You know, they didn't take any time on this. I would be afraid that eventually, like, all this is sharp. Like, I could cut my fingers on these pieces right here. Like, for a turbo, if this was just some regular long tube headers and this exhaust wasn't going into a turbo, I wouldn't mind. Because if it was just going to a non-catted exhaust, then it's just blowing out, you know, whatever is going to fall off of this. But if you have this on your turbo kit and this little chunk right here flies off, you're going to kill your turbo. And depending on how much you spend on your turbo, it could be $300 or $3,000. So this is just horrible. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Like, I think you can see it better on this angle. Like, you can see just along this rim right here, all this slag, or I don't know the proper term for it, but hot garbage is what I call it. Like right down in here, this is all sharp. And I think this will fall off over time. So definitely a no-go when it comes to, you know, this header. I mean, even looking down up in here, you know, you can kind of see this huge piece of slag right there. Like, if that was to come off, you know, say bye-bye to your turbo. You know, this transition right here is, I guess that's average. You know, the on3, it's a lot smoother. It looks like they just tried to maybe grind this down a little bit on the on3 kit. You know, the on3 kit, you know, they tried to smooth this transition right here. You know, kind of all of them are a little smoothed out right here. So there's a little, sort of a little smooth transition, as opposed to this. You know, it's just a big hump right here, honestly. This is part of the crossover part. And same thing, like all this slag, look, it's horrible. All this stuff. You know, if any of this was to break off, say bye-bye to your turbo. So, you know, the saying, you get what you pay for, is 1000% correct when it comes to this hot side kit from eBay. I believe it was like $180, and it looked like they had Ray Charles do the quality assurance check on this stuff. It looks like it was rushed. I mean, it looks pretty. I mean, you know, compared to the on3, which is a mild steel, you know, this feels nice and light as opposed to the mild steel. So that's one advantage the cheap little turbo hot side kit has, but it just loses points every place else. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody who's been trained in welding could just look at this and pick it apart. I have an untrained eye, and it looks horrible. Like, as janky as I thought the on3 kit looked when I first got it, this is 500 times worse. So, would I advise you to buy it for a turbo kit? Absolutely not. You would destroy your turbo eventually putting this thing on. If you want to take the time and deburr and take all the slag and stuff off of this, then, you know, maybe that might work for you. But gosh, it's some of these spots in here, you know, this is, you know, almost 5 inches deep, this collector right here. So I don't know how you would be able to deburr this spot right here. And, you know, it seems like it's, you know, right here on the gate, you could probably, you know, deburr that. But some of these spots where it's horrible, I don't know how you'll be able to get. So my advice is to you, just don't get the kit. So far, on3 is about the cheapest turbo kit for SN95 Mustang that I could, that I know of, that I would recommend. But we're gonna keep searching and keep reviewing some cheap performance parts and see if we can find some keepers. But this one, thumbs down. So tell me what you think. Would you rock this? Is this something, all those welders out there, is this something that you think that you could, salvage? You've pretty much got the basic parts for a turbo kit. Is this something that you could fix? Or tell me if you would just throw it on and take a gamble, play a little Russian roulette. Like I said, I personally wouldn't touch this if they paid me to put this on in my car, but let me hear your opinions on it. So appreciate you taking time to check out this little new segment I'm doing. Continue to support us by watching these videos, tell a couple of people about the channel, and hopefully, if you can make it to Ponies in the Smokies in March, we'll get a chance to hook up. We're getting together with my man 99 Turbo _ Ghost and myself at Coach216. We're going to be trying to throw together a meet during that Ponies in the Smokies week. So stay tuned for that information. Up next, I have another product review coming, which I'll probably release that in 3 or 4 days after this drop. So we're going to keep giving you some fresh SN95 Mustang content. So I appreciate your time and God bless.